The ability to share and appreciate stories is what makes us uniquely human. We use stories to understand each other's inner lives, to stretch our empathic muscles and to impart wisdom. When you share a great story from the stage, you'll notice your audience nodding, following you with their imagination and being moved by what you have to say. There is something in our makeup that makes us able to put ourselves into the story of another. So even if the exact details between yourself and your audience differ, you will share common themes, common struggles and victories that will have them recognise themselves in your story. The more authentic, powerful and generous your stories, the better. Your audience will really appreciate when you've dug deep to give them something of yourself that's really true, even if it means excavating layers of your past that you might be uncomfortable with. I often tell my audience the story of my journey to sobriety. I've been sober for almost 2 years now, and I share how speaking helped me to get sober and how each and every audience member who shows up to hear me speak is in a way my sponsor. It's not easy to share a personal story like this, especially one that doesn't necessarily show me in my best light. But when I see members of the audience listening intently with tears in their eyes, really finding recognition in my struggle and really recognising that desire to improve themselves, I'm always glad that I chose to share my truth. Your life has been full of rich experiences, and it can be difficult to know which ones to choose to include in your talk. There is much to this subject, and I go into a lot more detail in my Speaker Superstar programme about how to tell fascinating stories in your talk. So to make the most of the limited time here I have in this video, I'd like to share with you 7 prompts, you could call them templates, to help you create and hone the perfect, powerful, passionate story for your talk. Story number 1 is the story of your awakening, and this is characterised by you seeing things a certain way that was keeping you stuck. Something happened and then suddenly you were able to see things differently, get unstuck, become free and move forward. The story of an epiphany or pivotal aha moment in your life will especially inspire your audience members who are in search of their own breakthrough. If an audience member is looking to feel, think or behave differently in their own life, then your breakthrough story will reaffirm their faith that change is possible for them too. Story number 2 is the story of the events that shaped you. Many events in your life link together like a gold chain. The highs and lows, the ups and downs, the wins and defeats, they each have made you the person that you are today. You can use a word processing program, although I personally prefer a massive piece of paper to create the timeline of your life. Draw a horizontal line through the centre of the page. At the far left, mark age 0, that's the day you were born, and on the far right, mark the age that you are right now. Divide your timeline up by decade. Above the line, you're going to write anything that you can remember that was positive, happy, or a win for you. Below the line, write anything you can recall that was a challenge, an obstacle, or felt like a negative for you in your life. I like to do this exercise over many months, coming back to my piece of paper and adding things that I remember as and when they arrive in my memory. Sometimes it's big life events and sometimes it's small moments that stayed with me. Not only is this exercise extremely cathartic and illuminating about how your mind works, but you may begin to notice that the events of your life actually link together, both the positive and the negative, to make you the person that you are now. This is the foundation of creating an impactful, concise biography of the events that shaped you. Template number 3 is to tell the story of your big mistake. So, you made a big mistake and that mistake revealed one of your flaws. Humbled, you clean up your mess, put the pieces back together and learn something valuable in the process. We all make mistakes, and being able to share your mistake in a talk is powerful for a few reasons. First, you will gain the respect of the audience by your honesty. Also, you let the audience off the hook, as your share helps them to forgive their own mistakes. And finally, it may be counterintuitive, but your vulnerability actually shows your confidence. People want to follow someone self-aware enough to know when they were wrong and confident enough to admit it. Template number 4 is the story of your deepest pain. So something happened that wounded you badly, but with time, distance and perspective, you've healed and transformed that wound into wisdom. My grandmother died when I was 17 and I was absolutely devastated. I was completely unprepared to lose a source of unconditional love at that point in my life. And I learned so much about myself and the world through the process. And I talk to my audience about my pain so that I can share the lessons learned and the hopes that it will help them too. A word of advice though, make sure that your pain is far enough in the rear view mirror before you take it to the stage. Template number 5 is the story of your greatest triumph. So you were the underdog, you weren't expected to win, but you triumphed. Many people are inspired by a story of overcoming the odds. I often talk about how, as the granddaughter of a carpet fitter from a tiny town in Scotland, I beat the odds of 10,000 to 1 to have my book published by Hay House. Your audience also have dreams and desires, and many of them will have been procrastinating or faltering because they feel discouraged. By sharing your story of triumph, you will restore their courage, vitality and motivation. Template number 6 is the story of your moment of grace. So you were working so hard, struggling on and feeling tempted to quit. You decided to give it one last push, and as if by magic, you caught your lucky break, or the right person walked into your life, or a chance encounter opened the door for you. It's as if God or the universe lined things up and orchestrated this moment of grace. There have been so many moments in my life where I found myself looking skyward and whispering a silent thank you. Sometimes moments happen that you could not have planned, which end up being vital to your success. There's a strange magical feeling that accompanies these moments, and audiences love to hear about it. Expect gasps, applause, chills and delight as your audience recalls the moments of grace in their own lives. This type of story works especially well if you're speaking to an audience who are open to spirituality, metaphysics, personal growth, and all things mystical and mysterious. Story number 7 is the story of you as the student. You were a beginner once too. What's the greatest lesson that your mentor taught you? Sharing a story about your learning process reminds the audience that you were once in their shoes and that you are in touch with their challenges, their obstacles and their struggles. Many movies depict the growth of a character through a sort of learning process montage. Think Spider-Man honing his powers, or the Karate Kid doing wax on, wax off, or in the Sex and the City movie when Carrie is trying on all of her outfits through the ages. It feels satisfying to be a part of someone's learning and growth, and your audience will love hearing about what your mentors taught you. So in conclusion, telling a powerful story that will move your audience really comes down to 2 questions. Question 1, do you feel that your story is compelling? If so, that's a great indication that your audience will as well. And question 2, how does this story enhance the point of your talk whilst serving the needs of your audience? It's very important that the stories we tell are focused and functional within the larger body of our talk. So that's all for today. I hope that you enjoyed discovering different story types and that some great stories from your own life have sprung to mind as a result. And now I would love to hear from you, so in a comment tell us one story from your life that fits with one of the 7 story types listed here today. And I'm really excited to see you next time. Oh, PS, before you go, If you can imagine striding out on stage and brimming over with confidence, delivering a talk so powerful and so unique and authentic that your audience gets chills, and then stepping off stage and immediately being offered more speaking gigs and easily signing up clients to work with you, then I would really love to help and support you to accomplish these outcomes. Speaker Superstar, which is my group program for female speakers and entrepreneurs, launches on the 1st of August. And I'd love for you to apply for a complimentary one-to-one for you and I to discuss the program, to see if you're a good fit, and I would love to hear all about you, your business and your talk topic. So please go ahead and find the link somewhere around this video, and I look forward to receiving your application and talking to you soon. This has been Lauren Robertson with Speaker Superstar. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll catch you in the next video.